Hey Game Pass friends, there's new games to play. The ever-growing Game Pass library is a good problem to have, but it can be a little overwhelming. Besides, you're likely only playing Halo and Forza anyway, but in the case you're looking for a little break, here's a list of games worth checking out. Even better, cloud beta is now a thing on consoles too, bringing the ease of trying before you download super easy and convenient. So to celebrate, I made sure every game on this list was also cloud ready. Simulators. There's so many realistic simulators on the market these days. Farming Simulator, Goat Simulator, Kurt and Davina Simulator. It was only a matter of time until we got DEEEER Simulator. Deer with 4 E's? Yeah. And it's shaping up to be the most authentic one yet. Because let's face it, when they're not running in front of cars, what are they really doing? Well, DEEEER Simulator looks to finally answer that very question we ask ourselves every day, because what else would a deer be doing if not running into traffic? We're all just a shell in some mortal existence. Am I right? Anyway, Mortal Shell is on Game Pass. It's the action RPG that's like a love letter to From Software's Soulsborne genre. Also, Game Pass doesn't have any Souls games, so this is basically the next best thing. Thankfully though, it's not just a clone, but adds ideas and mechanics that make it a fresh experience even for veteran Souls players. It'll still require the ye old precision and skill, but is a bit more forgiving than the brutal nature of Dark Souls. Our very own Phil Hornshaw liked it too. He gave it an 8 out of 10 in his review, so that's pretty good. And if you're new to the Souls-like games, well, this could be a good entry point. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Okay, so yeah, there's been a little controversy surrounding Rockstar's handling of the GTA, the trilogy, the definitive edition. But on a personal note, I've been playing quite a bit of San Andreas on Game Pass these past couple weeks, and I'm honestly still having a great time. I haven't really run into a whole lot of issues. Yeah, I'm still not really sold on the soft, doughy look its characters have been given, but there's no denying its mechanics, world, and story hold up incredibly well for a 17-year-old game. San Andreas also stands as the most immersive sim of the franchise, being able to put on some pounds, get super buff, have relationships, improve weapon skills, and defend gang turf. It's still pretty impressive. What's always old is usually always new again. Undungeon is an action role-playing game in the same vein as old-school action RPGs like Shadowrun, Torchlight, and Diablo. You control a herald, a hero created by God, and battle through a science fiction story involving a secret interdimensional organization and catastrophe. You can also replace your organs like gear, so that's pretty cool. Described as an interplanetary gravity-defying journey through space and time, Exo One is just downright pretty chill. It's a fairly meditative game with minimal controls that, once honed in and mastered, can become a really relaxing journey using gravity, flight, and motion to soar through some really beautiful intergalactic vistas. You'll feel like a cool alien morphing ball disc thing in no time and cruise through otherworldly environments to some soothing hypnotic tunes. I've been playing this one on the cloud, and it's a really easy one to just jump in and out of. Ah yes, Unpacking. The game to turn a tedious chore we must all face at some point in our lives into something meaningful and empathetic. Look, I hate packing, let alone unpacking. But Unpacking is a game that takes the process of moving and unpacking your belongings and uses it as a means to tell an intimate story about growth and change. Go through different years in a person's life, from child to teenager to college student to full-on adulthood, and organize their personal items in their changing environment. In the process, you see what they've kept through the years, what they've parted ways with, and how their tastes and interests develop along with it. Or you can be like me and just get chaotic joy out of putting where it absolutely does not belong. Non-Guns, a game that actually has lots of guns. It calls itself a nihilistic action platformer roguelike, a fitting description for a game with little skeleton dudes blasting creatures apart in a stark and grim setting. This version, the Doppelganger Edition, is a remastered version of the original, never previously released on consoles, and features an all-new arena and local co-op modes. So lock and load in this dire shoot-'em-up where nothing matters, but all still too much fun. Rev up your engine, listen to that howl and roar. It's time to strap in and ride into the danger zone with Project Wingman. This isn't your run-of-the-mill flight simulator, no. This is a no-holds-barred combat flight action game that'll have you doing so many barrel rolls that Tom Cruise is bound to blush. Dogfight and fly through combat zones set in an alternate history of Earth that'll have you flying through the Redwoods, Pacific Northwest, and across oceans. Have you ever just looked at a raccoon digging through your trash in the backyard in the middle of the night and thought to yourself, man, I bet that raccoon would make a really good detective? Yeah, well, me neither. But the developers at Eggnut maybe did, and made Backbone, a post-noir narrative adventure set in a dystopian Vancouver inhabited by suave-talking animals. And you play as a raccoon, not digging through trash, but being a sweet private eye unraveling a deeply personal story. Inspired by old-school CRPGs, the game features elaborate and in-depth dialogue systems with an emphasis on exploration and environments. Keeping things classy, let's talk about Empire of Sin. Set in the criminal underworld of 1920s Prohibition-era Chicago, you take control of the city's most historically infamous mobsters like Al Capone and Stephanie St. Clair. In this turn-based tactical strategy game, you gotta build and manage your criminal empire and turn rival gangs into a bunch of stiffs. Think XCOM, but with mobsters and, well, no aliens. And the last one, which is really just a personal favorite that I'm taking the time to plug. And, well, it's also last because it's actually the only game on this list that isn't available on the cloud. But I'm talking about Grim Fandango. You play as Manny Calavera, a Grim Reaper-posed travel agent that reaps souls and sells them the best travel packages to the land of eternal rest. It's an adventure game epic filled with loads of mysteries spanning across the afterlife. It takes inspiration from classic cinema like Casablanca and Maltese Falcon, and it just so happens to be my favorite game of all time. So, there. Absolute, shameless, personal plug for you to play a game that means a lot to me, might to you, maybe, I don't know. Give it a shot. Can't hurt. Or yeah, you can just keep playing Halo Infinite and Forza. As long as you're playing what makes you happy, that's all that matters. No judgment here. Alright, that about does it. Make sure to like and subscribe. After all, if you're here, it's because you like video games, and that's a thing we talk about. In fact, that's all we talk about. Okay, see you later.